What is the disability system like in Disneyland Paris? Which conditions qualify? Which proof do you need? How do you go about applying for a pass? And how do you practically use it in the parks? I am Ree from Mummy of Four Does Disney. Welcome back to my channel. As a mum of children with autism and a Disneyland Paris annual pass holder, I am here to answer all of your questions. So what are the two types of disability passes that are on offer in Disneyland Paris? The first is a priority card, which gives priority but not immediate access to attractions, shows, parades, selfie spots, restaurants and shop checkouts. With official document proving the disability that is accepted by Disneyland Paris, and we'll go into what those are in a second, the person in question and an accompanying person are entitled to 25% off park entry tickets or annual passes. So you can request your priority card when you arrive or save time by doing it a month in advance online. So there are a number of different ways you can prove eligibility for the priority access. Stay tuned and I'll let you know which one we used and why. So the process when applying online is simple. You select the date of your visit, indicate the level of autonomy that the person with a disability has, enter your contact information and upload a valid photo. You'll then receive a confirmation email. Make sure you check your junk or spam folder because it might be hiding in there. And then you pick up the card on the day that you arrive in Disneyland Paris. Your card will be valid for 7 days. So if you alter the date of your visit in any way, you will need to apply for a new card. The other type of access card available for disabilities in Disneyland Paris is the Easy Access Card. This is for guests with long-term chronic disease, where Disneyland Paris can support you with simplified but not immediate access to their attractions. You present your Easy Access Card and an appointment book at the attraction, and they will give you a time slot when you can return. You can make your second reservation when the first is over. To get your Easy Access Card, you will need an original medical certificate in French or English, signed and stamped by a medical doctor, dated within the last 3 months. You can find a list of conditions that qualify for the Easy Access Card just here. But if you'd like to read through the list, then I will put a blog post in the description with all of the information that I'm sharing in this video, including links for where you need to go to apply. So which kind of access card did we have? We were using the priority access card because the children have autism. So that's the card that they qualify for. We opted to use an access card, which is sometimes referred to as a Nimbus card. I will put the link where you can grab yours down below. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, just sharing what we actually used. I think they cost £15 each at the time that I purchased them, and they last for 3 years. I opted to do this because it seemed a clean, simple, easy way to prove the disability without there being any perhaps language barriers, grey areas, difficulties. I felt that it was a really cut and dry way to do things without having to carry loads of reams of paper that may come along with other options of proof. So we applied for the children's cards. They came through very, very quickly within the week. And then you have to present that proof of disability at the point where you pick up your card. You can pick up your cards at a Disneyland hotel if that's where you were staying, or at the ticket entrances to either of the parks in Disneyland Paris. We got ours at the annual pass ticket window, which is found just outside the entrance to Studios Park, and this is because we were purchasing annual passes. If you organise the disability card at the same time as the annual passes, they can be attached to the annual pass and last the duration of that pass rather than just the standard 7 days. So for the rest of this video, I will be focusing on the priority pass because that is the pass that we used and I've got the most experience with. My first tip would be to make sure that you've got your passes super easily accessible but really, really safe. Now, we had two types of cards that we were carrying around with us in Disneyland Paris. First of all, the annual passes. I personally kept these very, very safe because we only needed them to scan into the park or to use for discounts. It was only myself that was actually going up and paying for things, so it was only me that needed them inside the parks, and I just scanned them as we entered the parks for the children to go in, and they did not need them for the rest of the time. So I kept those really safe because I believe those were €50 to replace. Now, the children's disability cards, there wouldn't have been a fee to replace, but they are a real pain to have to go and sort and organise again. So you really want to keep them safe, but you need them easily accessible every time you go to a ride, an attraction. So the children had them on lanyards around their necks. They were in little card holders that the children were fiddling with. And then on, I think the second to last day of our June trip, I thought, no, they're going to lose these. I bought some Ziploc card holders to attach to their lanyards, and as I got back to the hotel to put the children's into them, Zara had already lost hers. So we did need to organise another disability card for her. Get those disability cards on a lanyard. You could wear it yourself and just show it on behalf of your child if it's your child's disability pass, but it really needs to be shown so many times through the day. I'd highly recommend a lanyard over keeping it in a bag and having to bring it in and out all the time. There is a photograph on the disability pass, and it has to be the person with the pass in attendance for the ride or attraction or whatever it might be. For attractions, the person with the card can have 4 people accompanying them, and for shows, parades and fireworks, they can have just 2 people accompanying them. Now let's go into where you can use the card and how you need to use it. So the first one would be rides or attractions. It varies from ride to ride where you are asked to go to use the card. It also varies as to why you have the card. So my children had it for autism. They were able to load and unload without assistance, whereas if they had been in a wheelchair, they may have been asked to use a specific disability entrance every time. Some of the attractions we were asked to go to the exit of the ride, and then there was a specific queue for using the disability passes. For some there were specific disability queues, and for some of the attractions we were asked to use the Premier Access queue. It really did seem to depend ride by ride. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it, so just when you get to an attraction, all of the cast members are super helpful. Just show them your pass and ask them where you're supposed to be. In most shops, you'll find a special checkout where you can avoid queuing, as obviously the purpose of the pass is to avoid queuing for people that struggle to do so for whatever reason, whether they have a physical or a hidden disability. So in shops, there is a specific checkout you can use to avoid those long queues. Just look for the sign at the checkout or ask a cast member if you're stuck. The character meets in Disneyland Paris seem to be split into 2 distinct categories. So you have the characters that are just character meets, and for those, such as Winnie the Pooh, Stitch, the ones that are out and about in Disneyland Paris, you need to go up to the cast member that's looking after the character and ask for a comeback time or appointment. I'd highly recommend doing this before the character meet even opens, because those slots often fill up really quickly. You show the pass, they give you a comeback time, generally on a little card, and then you show up at that time, and then you can go straight in and meet that character without having to stand in the big queue. The second type of character meet works more like an attraction. These characters would include Mickey when you meet him in Fantasyland, Darth Vader when you meet him in Discoveryland, the princesses when you meet them in the Princess Pavilion, and Father Christmas during the Christmas season, who you can meet in Videopolis. So these characters, you simply treat it as an attraction and you show up at the specific disability queue, and rather than having a comeback time, you just wait in that shorter disability queue rather than standing in the main standby line. In restaurants, show a cast member your pass and they will show you to a dedicated seating area and a dedicated shorter queue checkout. Now the parade spot in Disneyland Paris, you need to get there quite early to get a decent spot in the parade spot. It's on Central Plaza as you're heading up towards the castle, just to the left. My children certainly appreciated using this parade spot because it's not nearly as crowded and you get a really good view. What we tended to do was to go there when it was nice and quiet, take some snacks, sit on the floor. The floors are always really clean in Disneyland. As long as it hasn't been raining, they keep the whole place sparkly clean. So we'd sit down, have some snacks and wait for the parade in a nice calm environment. If that parade spot is full, the other place that we found quite quiet to watch the parades is up near Small World in Fantasyland. We found it was not too crowded around there. It was quite easy to get a spot and not too overwhelming with the crowds. So if that parade spot is full, or if you've got more than 3 people in your party, so you wouldn't all be eligible to watch the parade in that parade spot together, because remember, there are only 2 accompanying guests to the 1 card for the parade spot, then try up by Small World. For fireworks, the entrance to the fireworks area is, as you're looking at the castle, it's over towards the left, near the entrance to Adventureland. There are a few cast members there. When it's dark, they've got those little tiny red torches that look like mini lightsabers. Show them your pass and they will let the person with the card and 2 additional guests into the fireworks area. Again, we got there a little way before the fireworks and sat and had some snacks and things and chilled out in the quite calm and non-crowded area and had a really good view of the fireworks. The one time we watched the fireworks much further back because I kind of messed up and didn't know the times. Check the times on the app daily, people, because the times of the fireworks change depending whether it's the weekend, midweek, and the time of the year. But when we watched the fireworks much further back, I found the children were not nearly as engaged with it. They found the crowds a bit more overwhelming. So the fireworks spot was really, really beneficial for our family. So we found the whole system for disability access in Disneyland Paris fantastic. It's certainly a trip that our family would not be able to attempt with our children's specific needs without this system. We found it very, very helpful. I've had lots of questions about does it cover hidden disabilities, and yes, absolutely it does. Make sure you check out that blog post below for a full comprehensive list of all the things it covers and links for how to apply for the cards in advance on the Disneyland Paris website. If you've not yet seen any of my Disneyland Paris vlog series, you can check out the June series, the November series, or the October series, where we show exactly how we use the disability pass, which entrances to go to, and loads of other tips and things like that. Or you can just check out my latest Disney video down here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.